My name's Betty Truitt. I have been involved in Pierce for probably almost since the beginning. I joined the board of directors in the early 90s, and then from about 95 to 2000 I was executive director of the facility. Then when I resigned from the executive director position, I went back on the board of directors for several years, and in the interim of that, I also did a volunteer stint as the executive director during a time when the current director was not able to be in Pierce regularly because of some family illness issues he had to address.
My name is Ty Fennell. I'm a current board member for Pierce Community Center and have been since about 2001. I've served on many committees throughout the years. Most recently, I was the president from 2010 to 2020, somewhere in that range, and served in all different aspects of the board along the way.
It was nothing like it is today. Treadmills and some weight equipment, but it wasn't a lot. It was some.
The facility looked a lot different. It really did. The current cardio room was the weight room, and we had a dividing wall in between, and we kind of had everything jammed in there between free weights and the machines. And soon thereafter, we started to do all of the construction work to create what is the machines now and the free weights back in the back. None of that was there. It was 2 classrooms along the way, and they tried to get all of the bikes and ellipticals and all that was just kind of crammed into one classroom down there. And the front entrance was where the current director's office is. That's where you walked into the building. So there was a lot, it looked a lot different in the late 90s, early 2000s. Pierce was changing at the time. It went from a basic startup to an emerging real community fitness center. So it was neat to see the change, the transition at that time.
Started tearing down the walls on the east side of the building to expand the fitness offering and the equipment, and we started the redo of the second floor. And at that point, once again, community people came in and helped us tear floors up and tear walls down and just do a lot of physical labor that we didn't have to pay for. It was all volunteer work, and that helped us do a lot more than we otherwise would have been able to.
Volunteerism has been in there all along, but the volunteerism changed because it went from being everyone, all hands on deck, you got to do whatever you got to do, the whole community's involved, to more of a project by project. We tear things down, we get things set up with new, and then finish off with a new finished product. And it was really becoming a real facility. It was you were getting to where your competitors were the big people in Peoria. It was the Gold's Gym. It was the other gyms in Peoria versus just being a little small town community center. And then the challenge is you're converting an old school building and you're trying to best utilize it. And so there was a lot of thought involved with how to reconfigure spaces. We moved people around. We moved activities around. I think the seniors have moved more than anybody. They've moved probably 3 or 4 times throughout the years, and that was really about trying to get the best utilization of space that we had while also updating it. And that's another balance. When you're talking about your competitors maybe being the gyms in Peoria, we're more than that because we're trying to satisfy people from ages 3 to 93 versus a workout facility that may just be focusing on the young 20-year-olds to the 45-year-olds that want to go work out. It's a community center. It's not just a workout facility.
When I was director, we started the Youth Soccer League. I remember Mr. Hornerbrook came in the facility at one point. It was raining cats and dogs outside. Cold, fall, wet, dreary, cool day. And it was a soccer game day. And he came in to get all the equipment, the balls and the nets, and said, "Great day for football." we all just about roared because we're thinking nobody's going to want to go out on this soccer field today. But his enthusiasm, the next thing you knew, everybody was out there soaking wet, drenched, and having a ball.
To have a youth-centric league where people can learn the game, it's something that it's a lifelong lesson. They can learn about teamwork, they can learn about how to play the game, the rules, how to do those things. And I think that's a neat benefit that we can offer that maybe you don't get everywhere else. Really, in the early 2000s, the whole Chillicothe area, our schools were successful athletically at the high school level, which I think brought the focus and the excitement around athletics in the community. And Pierce was a benefit of that because, everyone wanted to get their kids involved with youth basketball because they saw the kids up at the high school so successful. Same thing with baseball. You see the excitement and people want to get involved. So that was fun to see. And I think that was one of the reasons it really took off.
Hi, y'all. This is Zach Glavish, Illinois Valley Central class of 2003. I'm currently a track and field coach sprints at Texas Tech University, and I came up through IVC as a track and field runner. And Pierce was like a second home to me. I graduated in 2003. I won a few state championships, went to University of Illinois, and then transferred to Texas Tech. And then I ran professionally for a few years and then get into coaching, where I went through the University of Tennessee to the University of Texas, and now to my alma mater at Texas Tech University. So, track has been ingrained in me for a long time, but Pierce is where it all started for me. And congratulations and happy 30th birthday, 30th anniversary to Pierce Community Center. Pierce is a place for me. I remember back in the day when, my mom came home and, she had bought me for my birthday, bought me a Pierce Community Center year pass, and I was so excited about it. And, it was kind of the place where I learned to work hard. I had a lot of friends that would go there, and it was kind of the place where Mossville and CEC kids got together when we didn't know each other and we played basketball or we'd do different things. And so it was a good camaraderie. It was a good uniting place for us to be. Pierce was where I spent most of my nights. I would go home. I'd go home and eat. I'd run. I'd go home and eat. And then I'd go back and I'd do a weight workout that would last about an hour and a half, and then all my friends would go sit in the hot tub. So Pierce means a lot to me. I mean, I probably wouldn't be where I was right now if it wasn't for Pierce and the people and the friends that I met there. And a lot of friends I met there are still in my life and were in my wedding and other things like that. So Pierce means a lot to me. And it means a lot to the community. So thank you for all that you do.
For what the membership fee is, it's one of the best community center gym values in the Tri-County area. So there's that financial incentive that you can't go anywhere else and get all this for the same price. It's again, I think the spirit of the center adds to the children who participate in things here, as well as the families, that they're part of a community. I think that helps the human spirit to feel that you're connected to something at a grassroots level. I don't know, it makes you smile. I drive by here and smile, it just, and I'm proud of Chillicothe for all of the commitment and effort. And I mean, I did what I did, but certainly not without tremendous support from, like I said, the community, the school district, the city, the board of directors of Pierce.
I've lived elsewhere. Back when I first got out of college, I lived in St. Louis. I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I've lived other places, and you realize that it's really neat what we have here in this small town. You don't have that most places you go, and we need to constantly remind ourselves the little gem that we have in this town. I think we're only limited by our imagination and the funds that allow it to go, because if someone had said in 1990 that it was going to be like it is today, a lot of people wouldn't have believed it. But I can tell you sitting here now that there's no limitation to where we can go if we stay committed to it, and if the funds are available to make that happen. And it takes so many different perspectives and so many different people, and that's why I would encourage anyone to get involved volunteering, because like I said, everyone has talents, and if you can share those talents with others, I've met some of the most impressive people along my journey with Pierce that make me look at different aspects or different perspectives on how to approach a problem or a challenge or an opportunity that we might have. And so the reward is just in that, and I would tell anybody to get involved.